Welcome back to the Forder and FOKLZ podcast, episode 26. How are you, mate? I feel like we haven't talked about a lot of things recently.
Yeah, it's just, how by the time we speak and do this podcast, there's been like 2 games, 400 contract re-signings, like 10 more injuries. Like, I don't know. It's just there's just so much goes on now week to week. And then like next week or whenever, I think it's the international break, and then it'll just be like nothing for the whole time. So that's how it is, really.
Weird, isn't it? Like, yeah, I did. I don't know if you saw, I started a monthly review now show with Yambele, which is really good fun, actually. A bit weird, actually. Just going across the whole month, you forget like how much football we've played and all the other bits of news, like Tim Lewis, and then the contracts of like Saliba, and it was just, yeah, really bizarre. So having talked to him about Newcastle, it's like, oh God, we haven't even talked about it yet, which is really strange. But nevertheless, we'll talk about it in a minute. Before we do that, talking of contracts, let's kind of go through tonight's agenda. Is agenda the right word? I don't know if I should call it agenda. That sounds a bit sinister or something. We have got contracts at Arsenal, more rumours. We've also got the Champions League and how we've performed there in our second game. And then we'll talk a little bit after about West Ham as well, and maybe like, a bit of a preview of the game. Let's start the contract talks though. So today, I mean, did you see the Hand of Arsenal tweets that just went out?
Not today. I've seen them over the last couple of days, and I saw that people were alluding to Timber getting a re-signing. I'm guessing he did stuff about Rice a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've heard. It's so weird, isn't it? Like, I don't know. Like, everything he does feels like for a reason, and also like there has been murmurs and stuff about Rice before. So it's interesting. It's just very interesting that this is happening. Like, I'm not surprised. It's quite funny because you can see the sort of idea of the team. You get one done, you move on to the next one, get one done, move on to the next one. Like, it seems like it's quite, you can see how they're trying to work it. But I mean, a lot of players are getting a lot of contract, but a lot of money, wages are going up.
Yeah, they are, aren't they? Like, but then I guess you just have to. And when you compare us to like Bayern Munich or some of the other clubs around Europe, our wages aren't astronomical at the top end. And I think what Saka's going to be on 300k. Is Saliba there? He must be around there.
Yeah, I think around that. I mean, we're like 5th in the Prem, I think, for wages. Like,
yeah,
I don't think we're that high for that. Like, give Newcastle 5 more years and they'll probably be number 1. Like,
true, isn't it?
It is true. We're actually pretty good with the wages, and I feel like Arsenal fans are like, it's because we're not used to it in a certain extent. Like, we are used to one or two players being on a huge amount of money. So when we see a player get on 300k a week, we are worried. Like, even with the Rodrigo transfer, that was my big talking point. Like, 300k a week is a lot of money. Like, yes, he demands that fee, and that's fine. He'll get that out of our clubs. But are we willing to give him that when we've not got a lot of players on that sort of money? And it's like that sort of worry that Arsenal fans have, which is completely fair to have. Like, I think the contract is so important. Like, Timber is so funny that I feel like Timber has now become, like, I've been going on about Timber for about 7, 8, 9 months. Like, I remember having conversations with my dad last year being like, this guy is genuinely incredible. And my dad was like, yes, like, I could see it. And I was like, I just feel like no one talked about Timber. I don't know if it's like, maybe I'm not in that media sort of level, but I'm like, I'm always online. I will look at everything nearly. And I was like, I just don't see anything about him by the majority of football fans. And it finally feels like over the last 2 to 3 weeks, he's been getting his credit, I feel like, throughout the mainstream media. And then now he's getting a new contract, hopefully, as well. So, great few weeks for Timber.
Do you think it's just because he's like not an attacking fullback per se? Like, I guess, you look at the fullbacks that I talked about are the Trents, the Hakimis, like those players that their tendency is just to go forward. Whereas he is like locked down fullback that you are not getting past him. And he loves it. You can tell his bread and butter. He really appreciates that side of the game. And to be fair, going forward, like he's got more goal involvement than Florian Wirtz. You know, in the Premier League, and that's not me. I mean, slightly trying to dig at Florian Wirtz, but I think it goes under the radar how good he is and how clever he is on the ball. He's not just this defender, like this one-on-one defending like machine. But
he's improving slowly at it. Like, it's so weird because I did see a tweet by some big like Man City Twitter account, and he basically was like, "Why do Arsenal fans like Timber? He breaks down every attack they have." And this was against Newcastle, I think. And there was a certain level of like, I do see it in some aspects. Like, there was one I think it was against Olympiacos where we have an overload on the right hand side. It's about the 83rd or 4th minute. You won't see it in highlight packages because nothing happened, but he gets into the box, like in the half channel. He has Saka inside, which he could do a quick pass to, which Saka probably is going to score in that position. Or Odegaard's behind him. And he just puts his foot on the ball, does nothing, and then passes it backwards. And we don't even get a shot when he's like 10 yards away from the goal. And I was like, that is unexcusable not to get a shot in that position. And I was like, I think Timber has improved it. I think especially in his attacking work, his crossing has got better. Like, I think we've been using like our winger to come inside a lot, and he's being that overlapping option. It has been a good crosser. I like that. But I think in terms of when he's in the box, it worries me a bit. But like we said, we spoke about this before. Like, I have a little bit of worries in that situation. That's only because we're Arsenal. We're one of the best teams in the world. Like, most other teams wouldn't care because he's so good at every other facet of the game. Like, we have players that aren't like Miles, for instance, hasn't been brilliant going forward. And I will talk about Miles later because I did do a video about him today and he's in my mind freshly. But like, I feel like in terms of Timber, like it is a stick to beat him with because he's not amazing as White in attacking areas or all this other thing. But ultimately, who cares? Like, we have so much attacking work. He's still a fine player going forward, and that doesn't take away from anything. Like, the right back and left backs in the world right now are awful. I remember last year, everyone going on that, like, oh, DeMarco's the best right back in the world. DeMarco's crap. And like, and anytime he plays anyone that can dribble, he struggles. Like, I would just prefer a defender that can, like a fullback that defends more. We've got Calafiori, we've got more exciting left back, fullback options in other places. So yeah, I think undoubtedly Timber's the best right back in the Prem. I saw Olivia, who works for like Sky Sports, did that whole post about like it's not even close, James is better. And I'm like, it's so funny to me that Chelsea fans are the only fans that still go on about Timber not being the best right back in the league. I talk to any other fans and they're like, yeah, Timber's undoubtedly the best right back. And it's like, no, Reece James is playing midfield loads anyway. And like, Reece James is good, but yeah,
Reece
again, like,
James is never fit for one. And I think it's probably because that's their thing to hang the hat on. Oh, we've got the best right back in the league, especially with Trent leaving now. They've all gone, that's the one thing we've got.
Which is funny because they have the best left back in the league, but they just don't care. It's so funny to me because I saw Zach Chalad did a video and he said who is the most underrated player for every player at every club in the league. And Joe Tomlinson said that he thinks it's Timber because Timber, although is really credited high, he is arguably the second best right back in the world behind Hakimi, but he just isn't really held to that regard. And I exactly think the same about Cucurella. I think Cucurella is the second best left back in the world behind Nuno Mendes. And like, no one cares because he's a dickhead. Like, I don't like Cucurella. I think he's a prick, but I can't doubt the quality he showed in attacking and defensive areas over the last 18 months. He's been exceptional. So it is funny, yeah. Like, it is fun. It's these sort of agenda things. Like, I don't care like what Chelsea fans think because I know how good Timber is. And he's like proving it like every single game. Even like Ben White coming in, like he's not at that level. You see it. I know there's fitness concerns. I know he hasn't played a lot, but we've seen it over the games. But Timber's not playing. We are worse as a team. So I mean, he deserves this new contract. It is funny how contracts work in football, isn't it? Like, you sign a 5-year deal and in 18 months you have to kind of think about re-signing them. It's so stupid, but that's how it is, isn't it?
I mean, the contract situation is looking great now. Like, it looks incredible. I went through it with Yem and we were saying essentially it's Rice, Timber, maybe Odegaard. There was no one on 1 or 2 years that you're really concerned about. Then Trossard and Martinelli are the only ones that kind of up in the air. But again, it looks like we're going to phase them out anyway, unless Martinelli carries on with this form. But I can't see that long term.
Yeah.
So it's, it's a real healthy position we're in. I'll bring it up a minute for those of you that haven't seen it. So this is what we're talking about. So Sammy Mockbell came out not 2 hours ago. I screenshot 2 hours ago. But he did come out today saying Arsenal open talks with Jurgen Timber over new contract. Discussions at an early stage, but will from all parties to agree to extend beyond existing deal that expires in 2028. Which is mad, isn't it? He's still got that long on. And we're already looking to extend it. Kind of Arsenal, though. So we briefly mentioned it. This was a really weird one because everything he does is premeditated. He's obviously got, numerous things correct. He's been extraordinary in predicting what we're going to do in the transfer market, especially this summer. But for him to retweet, I thought this is so funny. And what an interesting way of doing it. About Declan Rice and the agreement with West Ham. And then again, the one at the top, we have full trust in our manager. He's unbelievable. I mean, maybe he's just reminiscing and he's just like, Declan Rice. These are two things I really enjoyed. But it is kind of angling towards a contract, isn't it?
Yep. I don't know what thing is. I find it so weird in like association football that like we are not privy to the discussions about contracts, so we don't know the wages that these guys are on. In America, everything is publicized. Like pretty much. Like it depends what it is, because get your big girl of the day. In COD, it's not publicized what their wages are. As much as like obviously like the NFL is and like that. But obviously that's how like their salary cap works. That's how their salary cap works. It works on the wages a lot of the time, and the wages that they pay for players as well over years of their contract. So we all know all the details, and how much someone's getting paid. So there's always that competitive nature there. We just don't know it in the Premier League in England in football. So it's kind of just weird, like when we talk about these things, because I don't even know how much Timber's on. I didn't think Timber's on that much though. Like I'm pretty sure.
No, I think
also,
coming from Ajax, the deal wasn't. It's a very,
I would
very
assume it would
economically
be
good
anywhere
deal for us.
between like 70k and 110, 120 probably at highest. And that's like based on like league averages of like the Dutch league, the player, the money we spent. Like I could imagine it being somewhere around there, him being a fullback as well. Like I don't think Calafiori's on like over 150k, nowhere near. Like he's a fullback that we bought as from Bologna, so he's probably on a bit less. But Rice, I don't think's on like a huge amount, like probably like 200 at most. Like was he on the same amount as Party or less? He's probably around about there.
Capology are saying 240 for Rice, whereas Timber at 90. But then how much we believe Capology is nothing. Was it Ryan Bertrand who said that they were completely off?
They had the highest wages for him in his career was like 70k, and he was like, at Southampton I was on like 180k.
That's insane. Him like, oh god. If you're gonna start putting wages like that, you do not deserve to be at the top league.
I wish we had more information though, because we need to get that HMRC guy on that to check if that's legit or not. Because I don't know, these guys keep capping too much. Like they need to be held accountable.
He is doing God's work right now, isn't he? Like some of the stuff he's doing, I applaud that man. Like his content is brilliant. It's so good. Yeah, it would be interesting to know exactly, what they are on base salary, but also what they get in bonuses. I'd love to look at some of their contracts, like the one with Neymar being able to fly a certain amount of people out for parties. And, have certain days off, and the contracts with the, like the bonuses of signing on to a foreign club and getting a free house and all these kind of things. There's so many weird deals with these little intricacies in. It'd be so interesting to look at. I'd love to know actually what happens, and also like in transfers, like we know agent fees get out of control, but it's all of the other strange things that people pay for, and Yeah, I think it was there like a hereditary clause for Haaland? So his dad got an extra bonus because he's his dad. Like,
Yeah.
that's bonkers that you can
The
even
world of
do that in
agency
business.
in value and money and like transfers is so interesting to me. Like I something I'm just not like I know as much as I feel like we can know, but we just don't know
Yeah,
enough. Like there's a channel called The Long Play, and he does some incredible business videos about football, and like you really get to see like agents is like a bad thing in terms of like a lot of these players as well as the clubs, but then they're also a good thing sometimes as well. So it's just like, it's like the same thing with Gyökeres and his agent had to take that 10% fee off. And then now he's like suing Sporting, the agent, and Gyökeres is going to help him and testify. Like, because they just don't think that. I think they had verbal agreements and they had written documents, and maybe that they weren't allowed to
yep.
do that, and they did it anyway. So it's just so interesting. Like, I don't know. I can't. I think that would stress me out more than like anything. Just trying to get the deals done. Imagine like this is what I mean by like the managers. Like people go on about, well, the manager wanted that player or the manager wanted this player, but sometimes it isn't answers for like the manager wants a player, but the club can't agree a deal. These bonuses, the things that we talk about, agents might want 20%. I'm not giving an agent
Yep.
13 mil like off the pocket. Like there's these things that make deals just not happen. And even if a player wants it to happen, the manager really wants it to happen. The manager is not the be all and end all of transfers in a lot of clubs, even ours. So it's like one of the things as well. I'm always going to kind of give some benefit of doubt in certain aspects. The players that you bring in is more looking at the manager and certain answers. But I mean, Villa just sacked Monchi because Monchi was the
Yeah.
guy that basically run their transfer business for 5 years. It weren't Unai Emery. Unai Emery got in Rodgers because he liked Rodgers. But in the game they played the other day, wasn't it? It was 9 players that started in the game were before Unai Emery joined.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like it's just like one of them things where I think if Unai Emery actually wanted the players he wanted and got them, he probably would have played more, but he hasn't. They've just got people that they don't like, and he's just gone, well, and then Monchi's gone now. So it's interesting.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, kind of going on from there, and I'm just thinking of instantly makes me think of like the Pepe deal and Zaha and other players that we could have got. One player we have got over the last few years, we've just mentioned Declan Rice. Is he at the top of his game right now? Like, is this the best version of Declan Rice we've seen at Arsenal? Because at the beginning of the season, I thought, he's not looking great. He's a slow starter anyway. Declan Rice always says he takes a few months to kind of get going. This is the best Declan Rice we've seen. To me, he looks incredible right now.
I would say it's a little bit early for me because 2 weeks ago I was criticizing the fact I didn't think he was that good, and then he was fantastic against Newcastle. Like he was the best player on the pitch by far.
Mm,
But that is only one game. He didn't play against Olympiacos. He came on, so it's like I want to see how he does against West Ham because also every time we've played West Ham at the Emirates, he has been poor. Like we have lost both times he's played at the Emirates with Rice at the club, and he's been poor both times. Like last year, I think it's a vivid memory for many people how bad he was in that game. He was so bad, and it's funny because
he
every
was
time we go
awful.
away to West Ham,
Did
we
he get
thrash
hooked?
him. Yeah, I think so. I
He
remember
did,
him
didn't he?
coming off and being all like angry, and I do remember that a lot. But like every time we play West Ham away, we thrash him. We won 5-2, 6
He
0 in the
scored that
last two
goal as well,
years.
didn't he?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
amazing in that game. But then at home, we've lost 1-0 and 2-0 in the last two
Yep.
times, and he's been awful. So I want to see him be better this weekend and see how he does and kind of move into it. I think that Newcastle performance though was like what we want from Rice. So the more of that is the best. But I need to see a little bit more of it like over a long period of time. But I mean that is the main thing. Like it does feel like I said this last week, and we'll go into more in a bit, but I did say in the last week that I feel like the biggest issue of Arsenal was clicking issues. I just think like there is
Yeah.
some problems with the team trying to gel with each other, which is always going to happen when you bring loads of players in. We had a whole new front three for some of our games this season. And it is starting to feel like, at least towards the end of games, I think we're starting to be much better. And I do think we are playing a better football and we are getting there slowly, which is good.
Yeah, Rice's ability to just cover ground in that Newcastle game was unbelievable. Because quite often, Newcastle are quite good at having like a fluid three in the middle. It's always going to be three in the middle. Whether we discussed it, didn't we, in the preview of Are they going to have 3 at the back? Are they going to play 4 at the back? Like, how are they actually going to manage? How are they going to set up? It doesn't matter that midfield was always going to be Joelinton, Tonali, and Guimaraes. But, I mean, they were getting pulled into positions they didn't want. Their Paul right, who was their right back?
Livramento.
Livramento. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Getting pulled into the middle by, to be fair, Trossard. The more I watched it, because I watched it back, and I realized actually Trossard did a lot better than I thought during the game. And it was giving Rice the license just to absolute tear into that space. And we were creating these mad overloads, and Calafiori actually going on the overlap. Wasn't that nice? It was really, really interesting to see how that worked. But I think Declan Rice was unbelievable in that game. He just ran the show. He's if we can get that consistently from him, there's no reason we can't win this league, because I just don't know how you cope with him when he's playing, in a double pivot, and then the next minute, like, he's playing kind of box to box, and then the next minute he's playing as a 10 or box crashing midfielder, or like, it's bonkers that he's got the physical capacity to do that. And it's not like he's, like some players cover ground, but they jog a lot of it. I never see Declan Rice jog. He's always like full pelt. It's mad. It's really nice. But is there anything in particular during that game? Because you said that, that's his best performance this season so far. What was the most impressive thing for you from him?
I just think, like, it's one of them games where he was actually very, very confident on the ball. It's one of my probably biggest complaints. The biggest comparison is the West Ham game at home last year. I remember it vividly, of him just not wanting to do passes between the lines, just being a bit worried, being a bit conservative. And I do think in terms of the tactics, like, Trossard coming inside, you've got Eze kind of roaming into that second line as well. So we've got Gyökeres as well, all three of them kind of sitting close to each other. You've got Calafiori out on the left, you've got Saka out on the right to give the width. So it kind of works in the favour to play balls in behind. We have the sort of effort. If teams don't jump up quick enough, you can get that ball through. But there's many times in that first half specifically where, by the way, in that first half, we were fantastic. Like, even though we were 1-0 down, we were fantastic. I didn't have any complaints, really. The passing by Rice in between the lines is just so confident. He gets it into Trossard quick and Eze. We get into the lines and we're able to continually go through central areas. We know Rice can switch the ball brilliantly out quickly to Saka. We've seen it loads. He's been doing it more and more, which is great to see this season. But it's just that central access. We've been asking for it. He's been scared to do it, and he did it more. And the funny thing is, it's like, I mean, we kind of had an idea that this was going to happen with Zubimendi coming in. We spoke about the double pivot. It's not like a natural double pivot. It is more like a bit of a B-Tech version of the PSG midfield. We have 3 players that always rotate, always change in position. I think that's one of the big reasons why Marino has been playing. I think they want Marino to sit deep sometimes, and Zubimendi does push up. Zubimendi sometimes is in the front 5. Like, it's not often he does it, but he does do it occasionally, and it's always to keep it fluid. We have different players come deeper to help us build up. But we've seen Rice play a lot deeper this season than last year. And the problem was, in these physical mid-block games, is that Rice was sitting in that left half space. He couldn't receive the ball in tighter areas. He was just basically a box-crashing midfielder, and we weren't getting him on the ball. Now we're putting him deeper behind the midfield, and it's just so much better. It's funny because now, I do think the left 8 role is still a role that he is great at in certain games, but in these games against Newcastle, maybe against West Ham as well, it's these sort of games you want him to play these roles, and the role, I think, helps him. He's been much better on the ball, much confident, and like, his engine is genuinely insane. He's probably got one of the best engines in Europe. Like, I think him and Caicedo are definitely up there. Like, they just run around all game, just every game. He plays 60 games a season and just does it all the time. Like, I don't know how he does it.
I think that as well. Like, I look at the Newcastle game, and my genuine thought was, oh, is he going to be able to do this each and every week? But I know the answer is yes. And the fact that, we'll go into it in a minute, the lineup dropping him out of a Champions League game, the fact that we can do that now is enormous. It's brilliant that you're going to have an actual fit and firing Declan Rice. because that is his best attribute. Like, although, like, well, you could say like the set pieces or his ability to win the ball or whatever it may be. But I think just his physical capacity is. Is there anyone else that can kind of do that? I guess like Caicedo does it, but in a different way.
Caicedo
But
has to be honest, Caicedo has to, at the moment, do it for like 4 players because no one else helps him. I do feel bad every time I watch Caicedo. I'm like, this guy's so jumpy at the moment. He keeps like sliding out everyone as soon as he gets to it. I'm like, it's probably because he's freaking out because no one's near him. Where's Enzo Fernandez? He's gone. He's trying to score a goal. I was like, I feel like Rice's engine though, like it's weird as well because he isn't that sort of nimble small player like we talked about.
yeah,
Kante has got one of the best engines of all time. Like everyone knows about it, and he's a small guy that just nimbles around. But Rice is massive. He's a big guy. It takes a lot of energy to move your body when you're that big all the time, and it's just crazy, isn't it? Like even if he just had the engine himself, he would be a decent player, like well enough, good enough to play for England. But there's everything else that's coming into it. I do think we are starting to finally get the best out of him. Like you said, in terms of the role, I think the role is helping him
yeah,
finally do the things. And
definitely.
I think we're going to get 3 months down the line, and we're going to be like, yeah, this is incredible. So I feel like it's the start of the beginning of him being incredible.
Anything else you want to cover in that Newcastle game? I mean, it was an odd one, wasn't it? Because beginning of the game, I felt that Zubimendi, right at the first kind of 10, 15 minutes, he was the better out of the two of that pivot. But I felt that after that goal, well, probably after the penalty shout, like he seemed to, I'm not slow down, I don't want to say that, but the way the game was going, that it just felt that it became more of a Rice game, and then he just stepped up. I mean, maybe Zubimendi didn't falter. Maybe it's just the fact that Declan Rice was that good that I just noticed him more. But like you said about it earlier, when that goal goes in from Walter, I wasn't too worried. Like it did feel like, oh, here we go again. But the fact that we just continued to probe, we continued to control the game. I was never at a full like, oh, just turn off the TV, shut it down. Let's not bother. Like, is that how you felt, or you didn't have that at all? You're just like, yeah.
Well, I was asleep, but
Oh, of course you were.
I was asleep. I've been knackered all week, but it's one of them things where, like, if we'd lost this game, if we'd drawn this game even, there would have been the talk, and even we would have had the conversation about, like, it's the same old stuff that's happening. But in that first half, we played not only the best I think we've played against Newcastle, like, ever under Arteta, but also, like, there was so much difference. When we lost to them in the Carabao Cup in both legs, and even broadly the league game we won at the end of last season, there was a lot of XG that we had which we didn't score. Like especially in them games, like the PSG games are also like a thing that happened a lot in. But a lot of it was Arsenal creating low shot opportunities because we were crossing the ball in a lot, which were like 0.05 per goal. It's very much like what Man United are doing right now, but they just shoot from everywhere, which makes them look like XG tables really high. Oh, shot creating actions really high, but they're shooting from everywhere, so everything's a shot creating action when you have 40 shots from 40 yards out. With us, that was the problem. We were creating a high amount of low chances of low like XG shots, which is kind of how Arteta's always managed. So it's kind of maybe an idea that he had, not necessarily like an unlucky thing. But against Newcastle and Olympiacos as well, we created, I'd say, 3 or 4 like major opportunities, which really like boosted that XG up. Like, okay, against Olympiacos, the Martinelli one is a little bit like, oh, that's 0.98 or whatever, because he's like 1 yard out and it comes off the post. But there's many other chances that we created, were like for Gyökeres and other players, that were like a 0.6, a 0.7. And we created about 4 or 5 of them, which is actually what you want to do. You don't want to create 20.01 chances. You want to create 4 to 5.4, 0.5 chances. And against Newcastle in that first half, we were excellent. And before the game started, we said about Waneri playing, which was hilarious. He wasn't even in the squad. I thought it was so funny.
I know. I did chuckle to myself when that happened.
Whole conversation. I made a video about it, and then he just was in the squad. But it was fine because they actually played Eze in midfield. So
Mhm.
we had technical quality. Trossard played because of the technical ability he has. He isn't a physical guy. He isn't that guy. I actually think Trossard, why he played is like, there's so many tactical reasons, the reason why he's playing right now. But like, I think we actually just finally stopped trying to outmatch them physically. And we just went, you can kick us, but we're going to break you apart. And the chance that we create where Trossard should score, he hits the post in the first half, is fantastic. Like, Gyökeres coming down the left, holding the ball up. We play it inside. Reece is pushed up in this moment, which he didn't do a lot of the first half, but he knows when to do it. He finds that space and we should score. And there was many opportunities like that where we create high XG chances. I mean, Gyökeres a few one-on-ones. They got blocked. There was a few things that happened there. I mean, Timber had that chance in the second half. Brilliant save by Pope.
Yeah.
And I did think about it, and I was like, we are creating loads of chances from XG that isn't set pieces. We created way more from non-set pieces than from set pieces, and we had about 12 corners. And then in the end, yes, we scored 2 corners. They were brilliantly well worked, like individually in their own way. And obviously people are talking about, oh, still corner FC, but this wasn't a game where corners bailed us out, but we created more better opportunities from not corners. It was like the
Yeah.
Olympiacos game, which we will go into, but we created some major opportunities and we didn't score. And then we kicked the ball at the goalie from near post and it like goes in. And I'm like, oh yeah, of course that's the one that goes in. Like, that's like not even really a chance like that much. And I was like, that's just somehow how it is. But it was a fantastic performance. Like, that was the biggest question I had this season. How are we going to play against these physical mid blocks? We're probably going to play one tomorrow against West Ham, you would imagine. Like, I know Nuno is a bit of a... I think Nuno will play that. I do think that will happen. So we're going to have to be ready again. But with an Eze, with an Odegaard, with a Trossard as well, like with Gyökeres, like we said this, we've got so many options now. And it's not only the last minute winner is a great thing, but that game gave me so much confidence. It's exactly what I wanted to see. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
so
completely
crazy.
agree with that.
We're like a roller coaster, innit? Like 2 weeks ago, we were like happy, and then last week I was like, yeah, Port Vale, we drew to Man City, or whatever. We got Newcastle, and then it's crazy.
And now
innit?
we're favourites for the Premier League and the Champions League. Like, what is going on? Like, to be fair, I think it was Alex saying this on the Cannon podcast. And he was talking about the fact that that's an unbiased opinion, and the bookies are not going to make the favourites someone, with an outside chance because they need to make money. Like, you can't, the whole point is that you put low odds on the team that's going to win. For Arsenal to be in that position shows that actual experts who understand and are good at predicting what might happen are viewing Arsenal as like a proper elite team now. And the fact that we don't ship any goals is enormous. And we look like, I use the term like clicking, we look like we're clicking together. Even when we had that new front three, we didn't even have the rest of the team around it, if you know what I mean. It wasn't like it was a set thing. Like Calafiori coming in, people forget Calafiori's hardly played any football at this club. And last year, when we're on our streak of going towards Champions League semi-finals, we had Miles Lewis-Kelly at left back, not Calafiori. We had Marino up top. We had a half-fit Bukayo Saka once he came back. Was that against Madrid he came back, I think?
Yeah.
We had... What else was going on? I'm trying to think what else. I mean, Martinelli, I don't know what he was up to at that
We
point.
didn't have a striker for about 5 months.
Trossard was our most used attacker.
He might be this season as well at this rate. Well,
He did be, to be fair. I mean, it's funny, isn't it, that now we're starting to see some kind of relationships develop. The only thing I worry about, there's a good side that we're able to rotate and keep things fresh. And you said it before we went live, that we can't really guess what Arteta's doing at the moment. And that's been so easy to predict what he's going to do, what lineups he's going to do, when he's going to make his substitutions, and who those subs are going to be. Aren't now. And that's amazing because it must be awful for the opposition and opposition managers to try and work out, how are we going to set up for this game against Arsenal? Because we've got no idea how they're going to set up. However, I think relationships are so important on the pitch. And my only concern is that if we keep chopping and changing things, are we going to get the best out of like a Gyökeres or an Eze? Or it just, that's one thing that irks me. Like, have you got that same concern, or are you just kind of like, they're all good players and they'll just learn the system? Because I do feel that we've got different profiles. So it's not like, say on our left-hand side, if we swap, Trossard and Martinelli are completely different types of players. Same with like Miles and Calafiori. They can do the same things, like stepping into midfield, but they do it in very different manners and they've got different attributes. Are you worried about that, or is it just?
It kind of depends, like, in terms of, like, what people think about management. Because I was going to bring this up, so I'm glad you did. Because I saw some people yesterday saying that, like, they had to think of a problem for Arsenal this season. They were like, maybe they should kind of have a first 11 to get more familiar. And I just, as a person, if I was a manager, I wouldn't manage like that. I know some people would. Like, I prefer having more options, and I find it hilariously fun on Football Manager to be like, oh yeah, well, we're playing this team. I'm just going to play this guy because I think it's funny. Like, I don't know, he hasn't played a lot recently. I don't know, you give him in.
Put him
But,
in.
and I always feel like, it works in our way because what we're doing with every single player is they play like basically you take them aside and you go, right, you've got to do this. This is your principles. Like, for instance, Trossard, how he plays the left winger is very different to how Martinelli or Eze plays the left winger. Maybe not Eze. I actually think Trossard roughly is probably playing maybe the same way we might put Eze in the future. But there is differences there. Trossard comes inside a lot more. Trossard plays closer to the striker. He's basically in a two a lot of the time. And I feel like when all you've got to do is the only problem you have is Gyökeres, really. You don't have an issue with Trossard because he comes in, he knows what he needs to do. You can't bring Martinelli in, he knows what he needs to do. It's just Gyökeres. You've got to get Gyökeres to be like, right, when this guy's on the pitch, you make this run. When this guy's on the pitch, you run here. When this guy's on the pitch, you make this ball into the middle. Like, them sort of things is where you've got to understand. Some players that obviously it might be a bit difficult to understand. That might be an issue. Gyökeres might be one. I don't know. There is certain players like Odegaard, Saka, Trossard who are very, very intelligent where I don't mind it because I know that they're like so adaptable and we have adaptable players.
Yeah.
I like us changing a lot because I do think every single game you just don't know how we're going to play. And that is the only thing that has been the same for Arsenal this entire season is that we are not the same in every game. Every single game this season, we've played pretty much like broadly. There's been some the same lineups because we've had to because of injuries, but there's been different lineups when we've had the opportunity to chop and change. There's been different systems played. Like this whole Trossard coming into midfield has only been a thing we've seen post Man City. Like or in the last 3 games, and it's like been a thing that we've been doing more and more and more. Well, actually, from Man City, and it's a thing that we didn't really do too much. Eze was playing on the left before. I said to you, I don't think Eze's ever going to play midfield for Arsenal. And then as soon as he played in midfield against Man City off the bench because he had to, I was like, I know what Arteta's like. He's going to start playing him in midfield next. It's just so Arteta. He doesn't do anything until he has to, and then goes, actually, it's a good idea.
I have been told he watches the show. And apparently he was a bit annoyed that you said that, and he was like, "I'm just going to prove him wrong." So go on,
it's
Ezra.
like this. It's like the same with Marino. It's like Marino at the moment is still our striker option. I was so upset when he didn't play when he played up front against Port Vale. You don't even understand. I was so upset. Like he is still a striker option because he was good in the period of last year. Like he would never play this if he never had to play striker last summer. He would never play striker now. That's just what Arteta's like. Like I know, I can see it.
He is the better version out of Kai Havertz and himself. You know, he is.
I can't wait for Kai Havertz to come back and score a hat-trick in every game.
You do.
I can't wait. I'm waiting for Havertz to be back.
I will. If he does that, I'll love it.
I
will love it.
We're getting man of the matches at least. Trust.
Mate, you know what? I don't want him injured. I think he'd be a fantastic option. Like the City game, prime example, Liverpool game as well. I think those big 6 matches, he gives us so many different options and so many different ways of playing. I think he'd be fantastic. However, in a roundabout way, I'm not saying I want Kai Havertz injured, I do think it has been quite good for the club in a kind of silver lining way that it's forced Arteta to put Gyökeres in, and it's forced us to start to learn to play with him and him understand how we play and different elements of his game. Like he's really surprised me in recent weeks with like his hold up play, his ability to bring others into the game. And I don't think that would have happened if Kai Havertz was injured right now. Like, I think it's forced Arteta's hand a little bit.
We would already have
Um,
brilliant hold-up play if Havertz was in the team. So the thing is, I will
yeah,
say, we had this conversation about Gyökeres, and we spoke about how he wasn't being. They weren't like 3 weeks ago. He wasn't getting used properly. He is now being used properly,
yeah.
like completely. Like we've so adapted well. It's just maybe on the player now to do something, maybe.
Yeah. Let's go on to kind of the Champions League, his bread and butter. So since we have returned to the Champions League, 13 games, 10 wins, 2 draws, only 1 loss at home. Like, I mean, that is mad. 26 goal difference. Mikel Arteta, I'd said previously, like I look at his kind of cup runs and his, what would you call it? His cup record, I guess, as a bit patchy. It hasn't been amazing. But then you look at that FA Cup run, unbelievable, gets the final, wins it. The Champions League last year, incredible. He's definitely doing something. I think I saw a stat today where Mikel Arteta now has more points per game than Arsene Wenger did. Like, he's undoubtedly a very, very good coach. Like, I think it's probably undercutting it somewhat. Just depends how much you view the trophies. Like him not getting the trophies, I think that's the only thing on him. But yeah, like we're looking good at home. And the last time we played Olympiacos, we had Bukayo Saka at left back alongside David Luiz, and then look at that right side. If that doesn't fill you with confidence, I don't know what will. So we had Socrates out on the right and Mustafi there at right centre back. Ooh. Like,
It's
how
funny.
times change,
It's so funny when you think about the money spent on some of these players. Like Mustafi was 30 mil, so that's more. That's
yeah.
the same money as Saliba, let's say.
Oh my God. He was more though, because I think he had a bonus, didn't he, as well?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh,
Papadopoulos or Socrates, I'll just say, was like 12 mil, like 10 mil. That's like the same price as like some of the options that we've had. Mascara's one, for instance, and you think about that comparison there with Tomiyasu, something like that. Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like that was in the Europa League, wasn't it? So we're not like. Well, obviously, I don't think Socrates is playing right back in Prem games. That's probably just like,
yeah,
let's
I know
just
that.
play. I mean, the rest are like starters, like to be fair, but like obviously Europa League, you're like it's so funny because Eddie scored in the Conference League for Palace. He scored a fantastic goal, was just offside, and scored one like a couple of minutes later. And I was just like, yeah, this guy's gonna reaper this stuff. He used to play in the Europa League so much for us when we were crap because he had to.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy's gonna be so good at this competition. It's just like, it's funny. I think the Europa League, if you're awful, you're in Europa League, I'd use it as a good tool, especially now given how it works and there's not like teams don't come down. Great tool for developing young stars. I think every team that goes in Europa League has such an advantage, or Conference League now, because it's like you're playing against decent opposition, but like no one cares. So I mean, the big change is great.
I was watching a compilation of Wharton in Europe. His debut in Europe, and oh my word, he is so good. Like he is on my list. Was it? We were talking last week, weren't we, about Julian Alvarez and getting him out, and I mean the likelihood of that is very, very slim. But having like a list of players Wharton is on that list for me. I think didn't we both put him in for players that we should be looking at in the summer, prior to the summer.
Yeah,
I think we both did.
It's for me in the Prem. I feel like if any one of if you get any one of Alex Scott, Wharton, or Belabor, you're like calm. Like I think all three of them are different in ways, but
Mm.
they're all incredibly talented. Like I've been saying this for weeks. If United just got one of them players there, they'd be infinitely better. It's not even close. Like that's all they need. Oh,
It's
I do want
crazy, isn't it, that
I
they're
do want
not
to
doing
mention
it?
Alex Scott because no one really talks about him, but he is class for Bournemouth. Like he is deserves a
Yeah,
shout.
unbelievable, unbelievable. There's so many good players that are coming up that you could get as well. Like I
Anderson
just
as
hope
well
Arsenal don't.
for Forest.
Like,
England's midfield is going to be class in the World Cup,
oh,
hopefully.
yeah, like oh, Declan Rice with Wharton or but
I
they
can't wait to the
oh,
World Cup though, because that's like the one time that you like. I don't know about you, but like I have loads of 90% of my friends don't like football. So like when we go and watch like the World Cup, it's like everyone's asking me like, oh, what's this player? What's this? Who's this guy? And then when it's like your boys, when it's like Nonny's there, hopefully Miles might be there. He does need to play more.
yeah.
Like, it's gonna be so fun to be like, I don't even care if we win. It's just cool to see Arsenal.
Yeah, and we've had like a lot of Tottenham players like Eric Dyer in the squad and things. And I've looked and gone, like, I can't get behind them as much. Not just because they play for Tottenham, though that's a lot of it. But the other thing is I look and go, we're never gonna win it. We're just not. They're not of the caliber to get there and across the line. I hate that thing of the golden generation. I know it'll be a little bit before your time, mate. But the whole thing with goals, Beckham, Gerrard, Lampard, blah blah blah. Like we should have won something. We weren't good enough. We just weren't. The other teams were better. Like look at France's squad at the time and tell me there were Thierry Henry, Trezeguet, Zidane, Petit, Vieira, Pires. Like, yeah, we weren't going to win it. Like Brazil had Rivaldo, Ronaldinho, and Ronaldo as their front three. The best two fullbacks possibly of all time, and Roberto Carlos and Cafu in that team. Like, yeah, if we want to go, I don't want Tottenham players in my squad for England. Like, I want these top players, and that's what we're getting now. But the good news is that Bukayo Saka is a top level player. Like Kane's moved to a club that actually wins regularly, so he should
And he
be able to
scores
perform a
all
little
the
bit better. And
bloody time. He cannot stop
he
scoring
does.
for them.
What's he got now? Like something like is it 12 he's got or something silly
In the
like
last
that this
4
season?
games, he has a brace or more. In fact, I think every game this season he has a brace or more. But the one game he doesn't, he got 2 assists. But like, I mean, I watch the Bundesliga
Nuts,
every
isn't it?
week, and oh my god, if you watch if you are a Bundesliga fan and that's your only league that you watch, like genuinely, like I wish you good health. Like honestly, get the bingo head. Like it's just not. It's honest. Like the amount of pens, by the way, he has scored. He scored like 80.
Yeah.
It's like Mbappe scores like 40 goals a season, and he is incredible. But then like 20, like nearly 20 of them are pens, and it's like, how does he get so many pens? Like, do people just
That is
not?
mad, isn't it?
I mean, I guess it's what happens. You've got all the best dribblers in the world in your team. I guess same with Bayern. Like you got Elise, you got Gnabry, you got Diaz. They're gonna win pens all the time, especially the Bundesliga.
Yeah, it's true. So not in the Bundesliga, in the Champions League. We start again there. We've gone off the topic now, haven't we? Not like us. So Arsenal gunned down Greeks, and we were talking about rotation and different players. I mean, the lineup wasn't what I was expecting. It was so bizarre having a lineup like this. So this comes, directly from the Champions League website, which is a bit weird. But the Marino one was interesting. I thought Declan Rice would start in midfield. No, I got that one wrong. I didn't expect Trossard and Martinelli. And Miles and White. Like, it's crazy to look at the changes in that team. Like, I wasn't expecting that. But it's so nice that we can do it now. That we can start, changing all these things. You happy with the lineup at the time, or did you expect a bit more, or
I mean,
did you
it kind
expect
of
any other
freaks me out a
changes?
little bit. Even looking at it now, it's giving me like the shakes because it's like it's the entire team of last season, barring Zubimendi and Gyökeres. This is basically a team that we all played last year. I was starting to freak out. Like I was like, oh my god, have we gone back in time? Where's our depth? But like, it's obviously
That's
all on
so true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
because like we like when we had injuries last year, Trossard and Martinelli were playing on the wings. White and Lewis Skelly were like, well, I mean, like the 4 games that White was fit for, but like that was obviously like a
The
like a
4
partnership
minutes.
that we did, and like Odegaard, Marino in midfield, we had like Partey or Rice play instead of Zumendi, and it's like I don't know, this gave me loads of flashbacks. I wasn't too surprised. I think was I surprised by anyone? I do find it funny that Gyökeres has played a lot of football, so I do think Havertz we
Mm.
do need to come back soon. Like, I mean, how Gyökeres looks absolutely fine, and obviously he's getting fitter, but there's always a concern when you've basically got one player in one position just playing all the time. Like at least with Zubimendi, we've at least got Norgard who can come in, or Miles who can play there. Like with Gyökeres, it's like right, we're putting Marino up front, or Martinelli, who we should put up front, but we won't. But
Oh, I know.
like, yeah, the team's fine. Like, I expected the defense. I expected all of them to play. I did think Gabriel and Saliba hit because it's so Arteta values the Champions League very highly. Like, I think his Champions League record is fantastic, and I always feel it's quite hard to like like talk about someone in cup competitions because broadly you can be amazing in cups, dominate teams, and then score, concede some crap goal, and then that's it, you're out. And it's like, well, you're a bad cup manager. I know it's like consistent for years, but he's been good in the Champions League. Like his record in the Champions League speaks for itself. He's been very,
Yep.
very good. He takes it very seriously, which is quite true. Like Saliba and Gabriel played nearly all of our games, like all the time in the Champions League, even against like minnows. Like Olympiacos actually, by the way, pressed us very well, I felt like, and they gave it a
Yeah,
go.
they were
And
good.
they almost got something out of this game because I mean, I do think there's a certain luck element there. I think we played fantastic breaking the lines, especially in that first half. And we, yet again, have problems with not being able to finish the chances that we create, which is just been a problem for Arsenal forever. But like I did think Olympiacos did a great job, but we played a good team. Team was all right. I think Martinelli on the right is certainly an interesting thing, barring Waneri on the bench. I know even I've spoke about it's quite clear that Waneri is an all-phase midfielder. They're trying to turn him into a baby Odegaard. You know, he's not being this winger player. Even in midfield, he's not playing that role anymore. He is deeper. He's
Yeah.
helping build up a lot. So it's quite, maybe they don't want to put him out on the right to kind of neglect that and keep him in his way to go. I know some people have said that they want young players to play multiple positions. That's fair enough, but I don't know. I probably would have played Ethan there or right wing, but it's quite clear that it probably goes like Saka, Madueke, probably Dalman off the bench more than likely, but Martinelli in certain games, and you're not going to start Dalman in a game like this. But I think I'm really interested when we play the Kazakhstani team at the Emirates, Karat. I'll be very interested to see what lineup he puts out because we don't need to put a Saliba and Gabriel in that game. In this game, made sense, fine. Olympiacos aren't bad. They won the Conference League like what, a year and a half ago. Like they're not
Yep.
bad at all. So I do want to see what he plays in that game because in my eyes, like Dalman has
Is
to.
that our final game?
I don't have a clue when it is. I couldn't tell you.
I remember. I think it is, which means that we could be in a real like positive position by that time. In which case, Max Darwin starts out
I
on
think
the
he should
right.
start then if that's
I
what
love
happens
that.
at that moment. But he still would be the youngest player ever to play in Champions League, I think. But
Yeah, I would presume so. Even then,
it's like I think he would have came on against Olympiacos. It's all game state dependent. Like we just weren't in
100%.
a solid area to do it. I saw some tweet about like Norgard hasn't played a minute in the Prem for Arsenal. It's like he's only been fit for 2 games, and there's been City and Newcastle where the game state is we've been chasing the game late on. Why would we bring on Norgard when we're chasing the game? Like,
Could you imagine the backlash as well?
I mean, he got
After the
backlash to bring
recent
Marino.
narrative, and then
He got so much backlash to bring Marino on, and Marino ends up scoring. I was like, do people forget that this
Yeah.
guy's basically a striker? Like, that's the thing he's the best
there,
at.
he's probably our second best striker at the club.
Wow.
We'll go through
No.
that in a minute. So the possession again around 60%, which is like fantastic. The last 2 games really dominating. Looking at the duels, not kind of outplaying them in the duels, which is unusual for Arsenal because we are duel monsters. But again, winning our duels 54.9%, and then 58% for aerial duels. But the main thing from this was how we used our possession. You know, we actually dominated them. That field tilt was unbelievable. No Scott Willis today for an opt analyst for this one. But again, look where these goals are. 12th minute, 92nd minute, right at the beginning and the end of the game. And this reminds me, though, of when we went invincible, a lot of the time we used to do this. We used to come out hot and then at the end of the game, you know, get another. And that's a sign of a good team, you know, not just winning at the death, but being able to actually control a game and understand when to apply pressure and when to do it. So, although there could have been far more goals, especially here.
For both teams, to be fair, though, I think it's a weird game because I think genuinely on the ball, Arsenal were fantastic. How we broke the lines, we created some insane chances. We should have scored more, but then I also think we should have conceded more. Like there was a few chances that Olympiacos had. In fantastic Rice save in the first half. There's a few chances they had in the second half where they get into good areas and they just can't quite get it together. They scored an offside goal. He's marginally half a body offside. Like it's one of them games where Arsenal play fantastic, I felt like, in the first half, but we only were 1-0 up because of, I don't know, finishing problems. I think there's certain aspects of complacency. Like, I think I don't think it's complacency in a bad way. I think Arsenal are pacing themselves. It's exactly what I said to you about the Port Vale game. Like, people were worried, but I was like, I didn't see tactical issues in that game. I saw the team not even sprinting because they couldn't be asked, because we scored early and they were like, well, Port Vale aren't going to score against us. We've probably got the best defense in Europe. We're not going to concede to a League One team.
We do have the best defense in Europe.
Yeah, and that's the sort of thing. Like, and I think in this game, it's the exact same thing that happened. Like, I think we almost did concede a few times, and it was a worry of me, the complacency. But it wasn't like we were playing bad. We still were creating chances. We just weren't finishing them. And it kind of felt like as the game went on, we were slowing it down. Let's jog a bit about, because, you know, this isn't a series. Like, we expect to beat Olympiacos. You know, even the West Ham game at the weekend, the Newcastle game, is way more important than this game. So it's a long season. I do like us pacing ourselves, but it is going to mean that some of these games are going to be a bit stressful, I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, I can't remember. What was the XG on this? It was over 2, was it? 2.99 XG. Over here, 2.7 XG. So XG was good, and it was nice to see Arsenal actually taking shots again. Like, this is something I loved about Eze, and I was not surprised. We talked about it. You know, we talked about it with Wineri, didn't we? Against Newcastle, him picking up the ball and actually taking shots in that zone 14 area outside the box, putting pressure on Pope. I mean, Pope was incredible in that game. And we saw it again. I think players are now starting to pick up better areas, but there was a good reason for that, and that's this man. He was unbelievable in this game. Like, he's making me a believer again, mate. He's making me believe
I remember
in the
last
captain.
week when I said that if he's fit, he should start against Newcastle, and you referred to Wineri. You were like,
I know.
Absolutely not. I was like, this is fine.
It is this roller coaster, isn't it, that we're talking about?
He's fantastic. All week, the Newcastle game as well.
Some of the passes from him between the lines, like him coming deeper, and it's so nice for him at times to be able to see the pitch, and at the same time, and at other occasions, coming between the lines and receiving in the zones that I don't want to say he's been scared to, but whether or not it's out of, you know, instruction that he's avoiding these areas, or whether it's just that we know that he likes to come to the right-hand side, but he was picking up all sorts of positions, and the rotation in midfield was, chef's kiss. It was unbelievable, like perfect. I mean, how do we set up in future? I mean, we'll come on to the West Ham game, but long term, Odegaard's got to be in the lineup, right? I think if he can get back, you know, to this level consistently and how he was performing 2 years ago, he has to be in a team, not just for his passing, but also his ability to organize the press. And, you know, he is the mouthpiece for Arteta on that pitch. He really understands the game. So I think Odegaard has to be on. At this point, Does Eze have to come in that midfield as well?
Well,
I mean,
Eze
he's
should
been
just play on
so
the
good. It's
left.
so hard, isn't it? You got Rice. But do we end up playing Eze and Odegaard? Do we play Odegaard and Rice and Zubimendi? Do we leave Zubimendi out and then Rice comes into the base of the midfield? Or I don't know. It's
I
so
mean,
interesting now.
yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's quite easy. I just play Eze on the left and then put Odegaard in midfield. Like, I don't really think there needs to be much. Like, in my opinion, that's the best way you get creative output anyway.
Yeah.
We've been seeing Calafiori play as more of a wing backy type anyway. Like against Newcastle, Trossard came inside quite a lot to play in that middle too. If you do that with Odegaard and Eze, then I think it works equally as well as with Trossard. I
Mhm.
do think there needs to be a certain. I think Trossard's in the team because he finds Gyökeres perfectly, like compared to a lot of players. Also, Trossard is a guy that shoots a lot. He has shot a lot in the last couple of days. It's quite wasteful
Yeah.
against Olympiacos, but I think when Hincapié comes in, like there will be a bit more of an option of playing him in left back. Like I do think that is the idea. He's obviously still injured. I think Eze on the left wing is not something that people should be scared about. I think he's absolutely fine there. If anything, him coming inside should be better for his angles, like where he can receive it out wide and
Is
come
this
inside.
where the Trossard thing comes in? Where we're, I mean, it's not a box midfield, but you know what I mean? He's kind of dropping into the midfield at times. Is that the long term vision for Eze almost? That, overload the midfield, create space on the outside for Calafiori or Declan Rice to go through? Like, is that the idea, do you think? Do you think that's like, well, let's use Trossard in that position right now, and then Eze can come in and do that after?
Yeah, I think we saw Billy Carpenter did a post like months ago when Eze was signed, and he did that little like dot, and it was the box midfield with Eze in the middle and Odegaard, and we had Hincapié on his I think one pushed up into left wing, and I remember he got loads and loads of comments by rival fans being like, "This is amazing." That is exactly broadly what we've been seeing Arsenal doing in the last like 3 weeks. Like we didn't do it much before, I think, for other reasons. Eze wasn't even at a
Hmm.
club for most of it. But we've done it quite a lot in the last few games with Trossard, and I think it's because Odegaard's been injured, so he can't be that extra 10 in midfield. We saw Waneri
Yeah.
and Eze do it a bit more against Port Vale, and Waneri played in that Odegaard type of role, and Eze was like kind of in the middle. It's like, but that was a bit different, I guess, because we only had a single pivot because we could go for it a bit more.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of the double pivot with Rice and Zubimendi playing, that is the perfect way. I think against low blocks and mid blocks, which people like, we have an issue against physical ones. We don't always have an issue against mid blocks, like genuinely. But I think
Hmm.
that is the perfect way to get past that. And like Odegaard, I feel like some people, like Joe Thompson's been talking about how he thinks he's Arsenal's most underrated player at the moment. And I think that he had such a bad season last year, and a lot of people are very critical of Odegaard. He is in that sort of aspect. Like Odegaard
Yeah.
is in the exact same conversation as Havertz in my eyes, because they are both players that are very good at everything and exceptional at things like off the ball work or maybe some play that you don't see as much. So people don't seem to credit them for that. Gyökeres, for instance, people have been going on about how great he has been at holding the ball up and working with players and doing all that, which is great. Like, I'm glad he's improved that. But I wanted him to come in to score goals, and he is now getting the chances that he isn't taking in the last 2 games. He had 6, 7 shots against Newcastle. He had 4 or 5 shots against Olympiacos. And maybe the Newcastle game's fair enough. He didn't get clear-cut chances. But the Olympiacos game, he should have scored in. That's the sort of thing I'm looking
Yeah.
at. But people are so much willing to give him time and be like, oh, it's fine because he's doing all this great other work. Havertz does that all the time and no one cares. And Havertz has got a great goal record for Arsenal as well. Odegaard is a player that he isn't a creative phenom. He isn't the best creative player in the club, and he never should be outlawed as the number one creator for the team. Even if Saka's in the team, I'd rather have Saka as the creator, just fundamentally. But Odegaard is a player that is great at everything. Builder, I personally think Odegaard is better deeper. I've always felt like he's better behind the midfield line anyway, because I just think he can see the game a lot more. His best
Yeah.
passes I can remember have always came from deeper areas. I just think he's better with bigger areas. And I think that's the main thing we're getting here. We don't need him to sit in between the lines all the time and receive. We looked at the heat map of the Olympiacos game. There's 2 big areas he's receiving the ball. It's in deeper areas to help build up first of all, and then in that final third. But the final third big effort that's coming in isn't him sitting there waiting for the ball for someone to pass it to him. It's usually when we've got teams pushed into their own box and he's able to
Yep.
come back and create in that area. And that major thing, if you look at his passes as well, a lot of them are to the left. He's having more freedom with that role. I mean, I think it's the reason why we played the team we did against Newcastle is because, like you said, Trossard played the Eze role that we want in the future, and Eze played the Odegaard role because Eze is not a player that likes the angles on the right hand side. He prefers them on the left. So initially, he's just going to roam a lot more when he plays in that role. So Odegaard, we want him to roll, so roam a bit. So I think when you put Odegaard in that role, it's perfect. And I spoke about it in my video the other day about Odegaard, but against Newcastle, that pass he does to Miles in behind the line, like from deeper, is great because what it does is it puts Eze in the middle in the tighter areas where Eze is better at in the right half space, left half space at the time, and then it has Odegaard behind the midfield where he can pick out great passes like that. And it means Odegaard doesn't have to be the natural creator. If he can't create, put the ball into Eze, see what he can do between the lines, see what he can do in these areas, and then work it off of that where Eze can be the main creator. We've got other creators like Trossard's been doing really well, I think, especially like you said in the Newcastle game. I had the same realization against Man City. When I first watched Man City game, I was like, why is Trossard playing? When I rewatched it, I was like, actually, I think Trossard had a very good, specifically second half. I think he was very good in the second half. And I think people scapegoating him was stupid. Like, I don't think it was his fault. I think he was fine. So with all that in mind, like, I think we're becoming a much more creative team. We're able to do it a lot more. Zubimendi, we talk about him being a metronome. It's so true. He's not a metronome. This guy just pings
He's
passes to
chaotic
everyone.
at times.
He's crazy.
He's crazy.
And every single time he receives it, he's quick into Odegaard. This is why Odegaard against Olympiacos, especially, was getting so much space to kind of like do what he wanted. And some of the passes were incredible. Like like when he's deeper, then passes he put through to Gyökeres, 2 or 3 of them were superb. His decision making in the final third was great. And you see, most of the best decisions he makes, I believe, is in this left side. I think his best passing, because the angles are better for him, are on this side. And it is so interesting that Saka, I mean, Arteta mentioned it in the press conference that Saka basically wanted to move into that position, so they allowed him to, go and try your luck at left wing for 5 minutes, which we've been calling for loads of times about wing and switching a lot. And he did that, and the shooting angles for Saka on the left are way better because he prefers going across goal anyway. It makes more sense. And yeah, the goal was a bit like lucky in the sense, but we created that through an Odegaard and Saka right half channel teammates on the left side, and it's like that is the change. We are seeing so much changes for Arsenal all the time now, which is just so hard to keep up, but it's good because I think last year we became so stale, but I don't see that happening now.
I mean, there's so much to unpack there, mate. Like, that is honestly bang on the money with everything you said there. I called for, if anyone wants to, come for receipts as well. I did call for Saka to go left wing against City. No, John wrote here. So John put in, sorry, John, we can't get the chat up again tonight. Riverside is driving me nuts at the moment. So he said, thoughts on Saka playing more on the left, it looked good to me. And I completely agree. I thought against City, it was a little bit different because Madueke at the time was injured and we didn't realise that at halftime. But I wanted Saka to come on the left. I didn't want us to push Madueke over there. I quite like Saka on there. And there are pictures of him in training quite a while back doing it. And we were both saying, weren't we? We're both of the opinion of, well, let's use it. Like, he's an incredible crosser. His creations from the touchline are unbelievable. If you look at how wide he can be, and he's still effective. I don't think there's anyone else in world football that can do that. Like, we talk about, the best wingers in the world, and you talk about your Salahs, your Yamals, your Vinicius at times, like maybe not right now, but none of them have that capability. They don't have capacity to do that, and Saka does. That's the one thing he is incredible at. And I quite like him doing that. It gives us different options. It gives us different angles. I talked previously about, having balance on both sides. I don't know if you remember, I put up a graphic and I talked about how I quite like Declan Rice on the right-hand side. So he can, he can go in on the right-hand side and crash, and we can cut it back to him. If we use Odegaard on the left, like you just said it perfectly, mate, about him and his passing angles. Just look at his best passes any highlights, and a lot of them the time it's coming from there. But yeah, I hope you agree with me. Thomas Partey leaving has enabled that. Like, we would not see these rotations in the front line or in our midfield with Thomas Partey there because he was so angle biased. He stayed in the same position all the time. And I think it forced us to play in a certain way. And now we're getting to a point where we have got so many players that are versatile in the way that they play. They've all got their tendencies, players will, and their preferences. But to have a player like, say, Calafiori wants to come in that half space. He likes to come in that position. However, he's starting to give options out wide. Miles Lewis-Skelly, he could have got an assist, an unbelievable ball. He should have had an assist. I felt bad for him, to be honest. Again, coming wide, getting into good positions. We've got out on the right-hand side, Timber is happy. He's happy not going forward. He's now seemingly happy going forward. He's happy coming inside. He's starting to overlap more. Like, we're getting options from players that are a bit more rigid, let alone the Odegaards, the Trossards, the Ezers. Like, these players are much more fluid in how they want to play. Like Declan Rice going both sides. Zubimendi. How often do you see Zubimendi up ahead? Sometimes he's in like the left back position. Sometimes he's playing in the right channel. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, I originally thought, not entirely, but I thought he would predominantly be at the base of the midfield and keep things ticking. Kind of like a Rodri type player, but geez, like, the guy is, he's chaotic with the way he plays, and he understands when to make a pass and when to speed up play, and the ball's out of feet very, very quickly. He's not got an angle bias. He's like short passing, long passing, and we haven't even seen the best of him yet. That's the scary thing. And hopefully we'll get more and more and more of this to the point where I think you called it a B-Tech PSG midfield. Like, I think it's got the legs to become like the A-class version of it.
And it's funny as well because before the summer we were talking about how, like, we felt like there weren't enough legs in the midfield, but I think that's the biggest surprise with Zubimendi, because let's not get it straight. He was not doing this at Sociedad. He's got way more license to do whatever he wants at this club, and he's just doing what he wants every game. The thing is with me with Zubimendi is that he is going to give the ball away a lot more than probably Partey would, because he just is. Sometimes with Zubimendi, he is. I think there's so many ways to look at this, and I don't think Gyökeres in this club, or even Madueke, or even Eza, would have worked as well as they do without Zubimendi. I think Zubimendi makes Arsenal
I agree with that.
so much more directly and quicker. Not always by him doing the pass through, the 40-yard pass, that isn't him, but just by him playing them quick passes into the middle, get the team going quicker. Against Olympiacos, 5 minutes, 10 minutes into the game, Odegaard, I straight away, I looked at him, he barely touched the ball. I was like, this guy looks like he's on it. He's running areas, he's getting into good areas, he's like proper assertive. And I was like, I wonder if this is because of Zubimendi. Zubimendi's allowing him to just do that because he knows Zubimendi's always going to be behind him, helping him. And I do think, like, in the first 50 to 60 minutes of the game, I think it's perfect. I think later on in games, you're starting to see Zubimendi not understand the team as much. Against Olympiacos, we are in the 89th minute. We're trying to keep the ball, and he's just pumping balls through. And everyone's like, we're not even running. And I'm like, calm down, calm down. He's like, but like, obviously, we wanted risks, and this is what happens. And it's so, like, nice to see Zubimendi, who hasn't been his best in every game, but he's just at least willing to play so quickly and so, like, attacking all the time, which it gives us that thing. We have been, like, utterly on it going forward in the last 2 games. I know we've only scored 4 goals. That's the finishing, I think. But chances created, Umir goes on about, football's turned into XG or set pieces. Against Olympiacos, we created 0.01 from XG from set pieces, 2.7 from open play. So, like, we can do that. And that was a question we had a week and a half ago. Can we do that? Can we do that? And I think Zubimendi is now picking it up. And, like, I don't know, there's so many weird things to see, because, like, Miles is another one. I think Miles is being turned into a baby Rice. Like, I think
Yeah.
how against Olympiacos, how he was used was so like in many ways the same. Him coming in the middle, him being able to run through, but he's been a lot more. He became a lot more of a passer in a lot of the game than a carrier. We know he's great at carrying. He did great carries throughout that game as well. But he made some incredible passes between the lines. In the exact same situation, I saw Rice make the inside passes through the lines against Newcastle. I saw him do against Olympiacos. We talk about the crossing. You know, you talked about the brilliant cross he did. He did a few of them in this game. We've seen the Gabriel Heinze clip. We know that he can't do that
Yeah.
cross before. And he's developed that. He's learning that. I think he's becoming better as a defender in the central areas because this is something people forget about. We've seen about him on the ball in the midfield positions. That's where he receives. That's where he plays as a left back. But defending wise, all his defensive work is out on the width. It's right near the touchline. He's very good at, you know, we all know what he's great at, getting his body in front of them, getting on the floor for a foul. It's great in the UCL, works all the time. And like in this game, a few times he stays in the middle. He holds his position. I think, like you said, Zubimendi covers that left back role in that moment, and he's good there. Like he's starting to learn that a bit more. And I'm like, there's just so many things going on with this club right now. Where like it's just so weird. Like
It's
every single
great.
player is on their own arc. Like Trossard, he's on his own arc. He's doing his own thing. He's playing completely different. I mean, relatively, he's playing kind of the same as he did like 2 years ago. But he's going back to this system again, and it's like it's just insane. You know, Martinelli being used as this like sort of backup like striker that runs in behind, like Saka doing whatever he wants, Eza just going wherever he wants as well. Like even when Eza doesn't get the ball much, and he is going to be the person that gets the least touches in most games that we play, other than if Marino's playing. But like he's just like everywhere. He's doing what he wants. He creates. You trust him. He sits at the edge of the box. He gets shots. I mean, I don't know. Like it's so much. It's just so every single player is just good, and like that helps. That just helps. They're all just so good.
The price of prize, isn't it? You know, you get better players, makes it a lot easier. But they're all intelligent players as well. Like it's not just that they're extremely talented on the ball. They understand spaces to occupy and positions to rotate in. That it's really fun to watch now. For a little while it became samey. When we know that we're defensively very resolute, very efficient going forward at what we kind of do, and we would kind of turn teams over eventually. But now you watch and you're like, oh, it's so interesting to see, you know, what's the lineup going to be? Where's everyone going to play? How are we going to adjust during the match? You know, it's really interesting. That kind of takes us on to the next thing, actually. So we have got a game tomorrow. God, it's roll round quick. And it is West Ham United with newly appointed Nuno. So I've got at the top here the current league standings for these teams. Could be more polar opposite, could it? And then our 10 most recent kind of meetings between the two, all in the Premier League, bar one, which is the EFL Cup in 2023. Sorry, my dog has just tried to make an appearance here. Thanks, Pat. How do you think we should kind of approach this game? Do we just go out and try to dominate, or do we play for as many corners as we possibly can, as it's West Ham, and just go along that line?
This game's going to be so interesting because I watched a lot of Graham Potter West Ham, so I kind of knew what to expect. Didn't watch. Oh, it's just.
It's a genuine question. Why?
Yeah, but they're fun to watch because they're like they just concede loads of goals. It's not like their games are boring. They're like losing 5-0 every game. It's hilarious. So it's like watching Frankfurt. If anyone watches them, they won in the Champions League. They won 5-1 and they lost 5-1 and they won 6-4 in the Bundesliga last week. And I watched that and was like, what is going on? But like West Ham are a weird team because I didn't watch their game against Everton. It was on Monday. You know, I'm not going to respectfully go and watch a Monday game being West Ham Everton. And like they drew. Both of their points, like 4 points they got this season. They beat Forest 3-0 away, and then they drew 1-1 to Everton. So they've got no points at home. They've been thrashed in a lot of games at home as well, which they haven't been good in. And under Potter, I've tweeted about it like 5 times. They are the worst defending corner team in the world by far. They don't even jump. I can't even analyze their corners because all they do is anyone just kicks the ball in the middle and they just don't move and it goes in. You know, they've conceded like 7 this season. They've conceded like 12 goals this season. Like half of them or even more are corners. They should have conceded another one to Tottenham. They got disallowed for like nothing. Romero scored. I remember that because I watched that game and was like, what is going on? And then they conceded 3 to Chelsea in one half. They conceded 1 to Palace, and then Palace hit the bar from another one. And like it's just simple. Is that you just cross the ball in, no one moves, and no one jumps, and they just get a header in. It's literally like the Gabriel header against Tottenham away last year, but all the time. And I just can't explain how bad they are and why they're so bad at them. I don't know if they improved. I didn't watch the game against Everton. I don't know how many corners that Everton got. So I don't know if like they figured it out a little bit more. I can't particularly remember if Nottingham Forest were great at defending corners last year. I think they were all right.
Yeah,
But that
nothing
is
in
also very
particular.
much. Sometimes it is very player dependent, like more than that. I don't know who they're going to play against us. I know Mavropanos, by the way, has been bad in every single West Ham game other than when he played against us and beat us when he scored. It's the only game he's played well in. So I hope he doesn't do that again because, you know, he used to play for us. Cool, whatever. You don't bother. He's bad. He was bad. He was bad the other day. I'm pretty sure the goal that he conceded to Everton might have been his fault or something like that. They just give away a lot of shots. I wonder, because Potter's been playing a 5-back, bear in mind, all the time. And I'm guessing that he didn't play a 5-back. He played a 4-back against Everton. So, like, I guess they're going to stick with this 4-back, like it is Nuno's thing. So it's going to be so weird. Like, are they going to be adapted to it? They play a 5-back for a long time, probably not. I think that isn't that they have got some big problems, like in terms of for us, like. Bowen always scores against us. He's undoubtedly one of the best players in the league. Like, I still think that. I feel bad for him because he is stuck at West Ham. He's one of the only like players that is like good at football. I do think Paqueta can be good. I do think Somerville's been all right this season. I think FOKLZ's awful. And when they signed him, I said it was awful. But, you know, everyone was like, it's a great sign. And I was like, spending 30 mil on a 32-year-old, it's not good money. I don't care who you are. And they've got that. Is it Juve who everyone keeps going on about, the left back?
Left back.
It's funny because I scouted him as an overlapping left back option because he played for, like, I can't remember, he played for like Sarri or someone like that, and he played in the Europa or Champions League before, and I've watched him before, and I remember watching him and people talking to me about, like, he's only going to cost 20 mil, we should get him. And I remember I think I said that we should get him in one of my transfer videos. So I'm not particularly surprised that he's this really good overawing, like, big left back. He's got great crossing ability. I have seen some of his crossing. I'm not surprised by that by any means. I think that will be something that we have to watch out for, but I don't worry too much because that's Timber's side. If that was the other side, I might worry a bit more, but I think Timber will be broadly quite okay. And it's going to be weird because Nuno, every time he's come to the Emirates, I mean, at Wolves, he gave us a couple of good games, but broadly, he hasn't really tried, I feel like. He's kind of played a 4-back and not really sat. He's not a manager that wants to sit deep all the time. Like, he does like going up a bit. So I just find it interesting. But if they do sit deep, which you would think is probably the best way that they can get result against us, like they have in the last 2 times against the Emirates. I think we're so set up for that now that maybe they'll just go, oh, we'll press him a bit now. But are they going to be able to press with FOKLZ? Like, does he move? Does FOKLZ move?
Yeah, exactly.
But they have creative talent in there. Like, they spent 40 mil on Fernandes. He's an attacking midfielder. Paqueta isn't really a 10 necessarily. He's more of maybe an advanced 8, but he's still a very creative player. Somerville and Bowen are quick wingers that can get into the box. Bowen's a brilliant finisher. So, I don't know. Like, in my eyes, they shouldn't play. They've got a goal. They've got a striker that wants to head the ball. I don't think any club should be trying to do that against Arsenal. I don't really think that's a smart idea. I don't know. I think they've been poor this season. It's so weird because it isn't the same team with a new manager, new system. But I think it's too early days. He's only been in charge, like a week, a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's one of the things when we played Ange. I mean, Nottingham Forest are awful, but like Ange, it's like he just didn't have a clue how the press worked. And I don't know if they're going to figure that out against us. So maybe, I think for Nuno's sake, he will probably just sit in a deeper mid-block, low block.
That's what I think will happen.
Because I think if this game's 3 months in advance, you might see Nuno go, you know what, we'll try something. But because it's so early days, there's no point of risking it. So, I mean, I'm excited if that's the case. If we're going to get a lot of the ball, I'm excited to see what the team can come up with, really.
What I've got here is the tactical board. Always the best on FOKLZ. So here are the two most recent teams. So Arsenal's team against Olympiacos and West Ham's team against Everton. First game for Nuno. So they kind of played like a 4-1. No, it was almost like a 4-1-4-1. But you could argue it's like a 4-3-3 with Somerville and Bowen. But a lot of the time they're actually quite far back. I think we'll also see Somerville kind of coming inside. Well, at times Somerville coming inside and Bowen trying to play it wide, or Bowen kind of pushing forward to make a 2 and Somerville keeping the width. Like, it'll be really interesting to see what they do. But nevertheless, I think this will be the team. Well, some of the big news is that obviously Ward-Prowse not being involved. Be interested to see what they do with that. Callum Wilson, is Callum Wilson like actually a better option? I mean, possibly.
No, not really. I don't think. I look
I
at their
don't really like either of them.
I don't really like any of their bench. I think all their bench is crap. I don't think any of them players
look at it.
particularly that good. I know people like Potts. Potts has just come in. He never got even looked at Potter. Young player, like that's cool. I know who Irvin is. Like I had Irvin on Football Manager once. Yeah, he's fine. Like Guimara is like a winger who was in Brazil and then never got played. They bought money and then he's now played a little bit. So a lot of them others are just youngsters, aren't they? Like Souček is like a big loss for them. I know there's a certain ounce of West Ham fans that have wanted to move on from Souček for a while now, and the club haven't. And I know a lot of West Ham fans, and they always debate how important he actually is. If he is really good, if he isn't. Like, I think that's a big thing. I look at this team and go, "There's absolutely no way. I think we should thrash them." Like not even just their team, but their goal that they conceded to Everton was also, it wasn't a corner, but it was a set piece where Mavropanos just doesn't even try. Wow, big shock. And like their biggest weakness is set pieces. That's our biggest strength. They're coming away to us with a manager that's only been there a week. Their team just looks not great. Their bench options, especially like if we get to the 60th, 70th minute, you think about who we're going to bring off the bench and who they're going to bring off the bench. Like, it does change a lot in that ounces and in that aspect. And like a lot of their players, I feel like they've bought haven't found their footing fully. Like Somerville is still getting there. He's starting to play a bit better. Fernandes has been in at club for like 3 weeks, like same as Eze. He's just finding his footing. I feel like Kilman and Mavropanos as a back two is like, I like Kilman. I think he's okay, but Mavropanos is like. And the thing is, every time we go away to West Ham, even when they've had better teams, we have thrashed them. And it's just at home, they've been able to sit in this mid block against us. So we should be able to dominate them. Like, there's no reason why we win. Their strike options between Wilson and Fulkrug is just genuinely depressing. It's just depressing.
It's dire, isn't it?
Glad Wan-Bissaka hopefully is not. Hopefully, Wan-Bissaka always destroys us. Every time we've played him ever, he's always ran us ragged. Like, please, hopefully he's not playing. Like, Wan-Bissaka's incredible. That is a big miss for them. He's one of the best players. But
he got such bad rep when he was at United, I think you just look at the state of that club. It's just so hard to succeed at that club.
Is anyone good at United?
Exactly. No, it's dire, isn't it? Looking at our team, I mean, let's kind of go from the back. David Raya in goal. I would presume Ben White comes out and Timber comes in for this one.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I wouldn't even mind Ben White being on, like, against these guys. I think Juice's going to be up quite high, but I think Timber comes in, White goes out, and on the left, I think Calafiori has to come back in. He hasn't really done anything wrong, being fantastic. Player of the month last month. I agree with that back four.
I would like, the thing is with Timber, like Timber should start the game, and then later on in the game when Juve isn't going to be hopefully marauding as much, then you can probably bring White on a bit if that's the, because not only for maybe that's the game state. I just think we need a better one-on-one life. We should have enough creative work where the fullbacks, especially Timber, doesn't need to do too much. But I don't really mind about left back. I think I kind of made a video today about Miles and was like, I kind of think he deserves to play. But the thing is, I in that video I said that playing Miles and Rice together doesn't make any sense at the moment, and I think that's why Miles hasn't played. So I think in terms of that, yeah, I wish Hincapié was fit, but it looks like that'll be after the international break at least. So we'll see him eventually. So I think this is one of the games that he would have played in. But yeah, Calafiori's fit. You know, maybe he can pretend to get an injury so he doesn't have to play for Italy next week.
For me, I think Marino comes out. We've had Rice rested. I think Rice comes in. I do worry about that because his current record when we're playing at home against West Ham, it's the worst version of Rice I see. But there we go. I think he comes back in, and I think he does a really good job. I'm going to throw a little spanner in the work here. Is this a game where you can rest Subamendi? Rice comes in, and then, you know where I'm going with this, Eze comes in as our left 8, and we kind of play with 2 hybrid 8-10s in Odegaard and Eze. Option?
No, I don't think he's going to be playing 2.
Oh, come on.
He's just going to do this, though. He's just going to
do... I know that's what he's going to do.
But it's the same principle. It's fine. Eze on the left, we shouldn't be scared about. This is absolutely fine.
I'm not scared about it. I'm just saying, to be fair, Trossard playing on the left with Eze there kind of negates it anyway with what he's doing. But
this is how we're gonna play. So this is how we're gonna play.
Yeah.
Pretty much, and I feel like this should be enough. Like, I mean, like we said before, like Odegaard.
Are we substituting?
Oh yeah, get out. Where's Saka? Saka, by the way, I'm critical of him in this 10 minutes that he played against Olympiacos. He looked really good. I also think he wasn't that bad against Newcastle as well. I think he actually was all right in that game. But like we said, it's a bit easier to visualize here. But like Odegaard is just gonna be here. You're probably gonna see Rice and Zumedia. One of them will probably just run around. But like, yeah, this is like broadly what you're gonna do. You're gonna have Odegaard at the deeper positions, and then Eze in between the lines. I think like for a low block instance, we've got so many runners now, which is something I love. Like I think Gyökeres and Eze work really well in these positions. We've seen it a little bit with Trossard, but the reason why. Where's Trossard? The reason why Trossard plays, I think, is because what he does is he takes an extra man out. If they've got an extra man in this midfield, he'll just move them away from Eze as he gets the space, because they're not usually going to have 2-3 players come back. So it means Eze gets not only like a one-on-one with the defender, but when Gyökeres makes this movement into the final third, it gives this space here all the time. And we've needed that. We've just needed something. Like Havertz is a smart runner, but he's not an excessive runner. He's not someone that's just going to keep running for no reason.
He's no Marino, is he?
So Gyökeres basically will make this run all the time, and then Eze gets this space here. So I think I can't wait to see Odegaard and Eze from the start of a game together, because they've not played at the start of a game together. You know, it is Arteta. He might just drop Eze and put Trossard in. Like, maybe he does that because Trossard's a little bit more direct with Gyökeres. It shouldn't matter. I know people are going to cry about it. If we win, I don't care. I think we should be able to beat them with Trossard playing, with Eze playing.
I think it's important that we are changing it. And like a player like Eze, giving him rest is a good thing. Because right now, Odegaard, roll a dice right now. Tell me if he's going to be fit, if he's not going to be fit, if he's going to, I don't know, dislocate a toe on the warm-up or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, anything could happen with him right now. So part of me is like, if Eze doesn't start, that's okay, because I know he's going to get minutes and he's going to be involved. And I also know that Arteta's happy at playing him in multiple positions. So depending on the game state, he can come in and, you know, it
completely depends on like Arteta's perspective. I think he's going to try and play the same system and team that he did against Newcastle. It just kind of depends if he only played Trossard on the left and Eze in midfield because Odegaard wasn't fully fit, or Odegaard was fit and could have started, but he thought that would have been the best idea. Because if he still thinks the same, then, you know, he might even start the same lineup. But I think Odegaard's more likely to probably come in. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's not. But if he doesn't think that, if he thinks like how I think he's thinking, with like, well, Trossard was there because Odegaard wasn't fit, and Eze will be moved back to the left, and then Odegaard can come into midfield. And the big thing is, it's like we've been fantastic in the last 5 to 10 minutes of pretty much like most games we've played this season. We've been better in the last 5 to 10 minutes. So it does matter. The finishes is a big thing. So like even bringing on the options that we have, like Lewis Skelly has been getting better and better. Ethan will probably be on the bench now. Like, he hasn't played a lot in the recent times. He'll probably be able to come on, give him some moments. Marino is a good bench option. I've been critical of him in starting games when games are like even.
He's a
but
great bench option.
yeah, you just loft crosses in there and he's incredible in the air. Like he can score great headers and do great celebrations as well after it. But like Trossard coming on, like White coming on, like Martinelli, like we know how good Martinelli is off the bench, especially in these central areas. We all know it. So like there's so many options there where like even if the game is 0-0 70th minute, we can just try something new. Like if one of these players doesn't play. So yeah, it shouldn't be that much of an issue, really, hopefully.
I don't really know where to go with that. Yeah, I completely agree. I think this right now is the team, and it gives us so many options. I just need Calafiori just to keep doing what he has been doing the last 2 games and making sure he is occupying wide spaces and allowing Eza to go in. Although we know this is going to happen at times, and people are going to be really unhappy about it, but it is what it is. Like, it's a necessity. You have to create space, and that is one of the spaces. And he's very, very good in that. Yeah, completely agree. But right now, I can't predict exactly what Arteta's going to do. I really can't. There's so many different options, and it also depends on how he views this game. If he looks at it and goes, "Wow, it's a given that we're going to win this game," so we'll just, oh, where's other Saliba? Sorry, I'm trying to find everyone right now. There we go. Yeah, it depends how he views it, and if he thinks, well, actually, this was a game that I can rest some more players, and look at the options we've got now. Like we go and play against Olympiacos in the Champions League, and so many of these players went on that pitch from the off. So could be anything. Could be anything.
I mean, Mascara could play, really.
Yeah. You know what? I think it was John put in the chat earlier about Saliba and his right-hand bias and, him dictating build-up. I think Mosquera has been really important at showing Saliba, which is so funny because, Saliba is one of the world's best defenders, but showing him that out ball and showing him how to progress the ball in a different manner. And it has been interesting seeing Saliba come in and trying different things. He hasn't, I don't think he's set the world alight so far this year, but yeah, we've got so many different options now.
It's quite
even
funny
Mascara,
that
even
Mascara's
Mascara
passing
out
is always
here.
central. Yeah, his passing's always central. Like he loves putting it into the middle to Zubimendi, which helps our central access player, which is something that's been awful for years. Has actually been really good this season. Majority, like we have actually tried a lot. We are playing more direct. There is going to be problems to that, but we are still learning it. I think Mascara, it's quite funny because before he came in, I said that his biggest weakness was in the air, and I still think it is his biggest weakness. But he gets into about 5 headers a game. He had 8 touches against Olympiacos. I think 4 of them were headers. I was like, this guy's not good in the air. It's everything. Can't stop. So.
It is mad, isn't it? That is episode 26 in the bag. Before we finish up, though, I've got a couple fun questions for you tonight, Reece. So I'm gonna, we'll change some segments up. We'll try to get some more in. If anyone has any ideas as well of new segments to put in, give us a shout. I know Scott wants me to do, the latte firm do their snack check. He wants me to do a Cornish version of it. And I was like, it was basically just pasties every single time. So he wants me to start doing a whole show with pasties. I don't know how viable that is at 5 to 10 at night. But a couple of questions for you now. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can bring these up. You're like, oh God, what are these questions going to be? So, right, open the right thing. Would you rather? Here we go. and it's not FM based. Would you rather win the World Cup as a bench player or lose the final scoring a hat trick?
I don't know. I guess I'd probably lose the final as a as a scoring a hat trick, because I just don't like I'm someone that I don't know. I would take I don't know. I kind of want to be independent. And I care about my own stuff more than like I care about things overall. If that makes sense. Like it's like with me, like I don't work at a job because I don't like a proper job because I just can't be asked to like. I don't want to work for a job and be like, oh, let's get the company to be a better place. I don't care about the company. The company's not me. Like I just care about like in my sense in a work environment. I would be like, oh, at least I could tell people I scored a hat trick in the final. Like loads of people have won World Cups. How many people have won World Cup? Mustafi, like he's crap.
I see your point there.
And like
how many
and like
people scored a hat trick in a World Cup
like
final?
Mbappe, even though I know Mbappe has won the World Cup and scored a hat trick in the final and lost, but like he could literally just be like, that's gonna be the moment that everyone remembers Mbappe for. No one's gonna remember him from the 2018 World Cup where he scored. He did score in that final, but he wasn't like the best player on the team. Everyone's gonna remember that hat trick he scored and where like Kolo Muani threw it away for him. So I think in that sense, I'd be like, I think that's more memorable, and that's all I'm about. Like legacy stuff.
Yeah, fairs. Yeah, I kind of get that. Would you rather be a one-club legend like Francesco Totti, travel the world winning titles at different clubs like Zlatan?
Oh, winning, traveling the world, winning titles. I'm not. Respectfully, I
am not loyal.
Yeah, I'm not. Though. I was gonna say that, but like, I'm not. Like anyone, if I do anything, like I always change it every week. Like I'm so like I just change all the time what I think and do all the time. And like it's with anything. I'm not that that loyal in terms of that aspect. I mean, at uni, I had a different friendship group every like 4 months because I was just like, someone annoys me, and I just go make new friends. Like, and it's just sort of that's like how I've been ever. Like I play Football Manager, and I'm at a team for 3 months. One player pisses me off, I leave, and then my friends get so annoyed because I'm at 10 clubs in 5 years. And
that bodes so well for this podcast. I've heard Turkish has left AFTV. There's no Forever Arsenal. That's why Wokkels is behind the scenes.
Free agency. Like it's just like I don't know. I'm like it depends. It does purely depend on what club you are, because I do find it funny when people say this about like Busquets and like Messi and stuff. It's like, yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you're at Barcelona. You're at the best club in the world. Like it's pretty.
Yeah,
easy
why are
to
you
say.
gonna leave? Like,
but like when you're at like Roma, like. Even when he was at Roma a lot of the time, they were okay. I know for like the last last decade he was there, they weren't. Like when I watched him, they weren't good. And they're not now. But like, yeah, like I do think it's a certain level. Like, would you rather be a one club man at like Accrington Stanley or just go around? Like, I think there's certain levels to it. Like, overall,
it depends on the club. Yeah,
like even like Lampard. Like Lampard was at Chelsea. Chelsea were really good, and then later on in his career, obviously, he went to America and went to Man City for a bit, like for a season. So
yeah.
Like,
I mean, it depends, doesn't it? I mean, the Totti one though. To be fair to him, like they retired his shirt, haven't they? And like he's like a god in Rome. Like he is. He's just.
But it is different in Italy, especially. Like I've been to Rome, and that city is crazy. Like. It's also football inherited. Like you talk to anyone, it's about football. I got into like 4 Ubers. Every single Uber driver's got the football on the radio, talking about football, Roma or Lazio stuff all across the car. Like
That's amazing.
You go anywhere, it's all about football everywhere. And it's like in cities like that, I can imagine how he feels. Like with all the time, Rome's a lovely city as well. I'm sure for him, he's got very wealthy, he can do what he wants. I'm sure that like in that sort of level, like it's great. Say if I'm at Rome, I'd have more. I'd definitely think about doing a lot more than I would do like Liverpool. Like, but then I guess like if it's your hometown club, you have an affinity to that. I don't as much because like it's like with Norwich. Like, do I have an affinity to it that much? I do a bit, yeah, but not like I don't want to stay here forever. But I get in some people like all their friends and their livelihood, and it's just hard to like leave that. Like. It's the same with the whole like going to uni thing. People really struggle because it's like moving out. So I get that's probably the same with a lot of these footballers. Like they want it. They probably feel like it's too much of a like. It's the same with Zubamendi. I'm sure he was worried. Like he really didn't want to leave Sociedad because it was so comfortable for him to be there. But you know, eventually, if you want to achieve stuff. You know, you can't be at Laral all the time, and you know, you got to wait for the A team of Real Sociedad to come in, which is us.
All right, final one. Bit of a random one. Oh no, I'm gonna give you two. All right, I'll give you two more. Ready? These are less serious ones. Would you rather be the player that is constantly on memes and stuff, or the players that go to do a celebration, like say knee slide and then just face plant the floor? Or would you be the player that gets nutmegged by a 10-year-old in a warm-up?
I mean, the meme one. I don't know. Like, I mean, I've been nutmegged a lot of times. I played one football tournament at uni, and I got nutmegged like pretty badly in the first like 5 seconds by the hockey team.
Oh,
So like, it's like something I'm pretty used to actually. Like, I'll just break their legs. That's usually how I play. You know, Lee Catamore style. That's usually how I play when I play football. But I don't know. Like, I don't know. I just like, it's the sort of thing where like, I feel like a lot of publicity is good publicity, unless yeah, there's only two ways it can be bad publicity, and we're not going to get into them here. But like, I do think I don't know. I just like being. It's a bit weird, but I like being known, if that makes sense. Like, I just like, even if people are making fun of me, if it's in a light-hearted way and it's not that deep, like
yeah.
I don't actually care. Like, I just like it. I just like people like even knowing I exist.
There's plenty of players as well who have done that. You know what I mean, there's so many. Yeah, that's the one I would go for as well. Final one. Would you rather play a full match wearing boots that are 2 sizes too small for you, like proper cramped up little feet, or wearing a kit that's so baggy that you can't see your legs anymore? Like your shorts are almost like 3/4 length trousers. Your shirts. You're wearing a short sleeve shirt, but it looks like you're wearing a long sleeve shirt. Like, which one are you going for?
The thing is, like, when I was like really young and we had to play football for the school, like for PE and stuff, I like didn't have the money to buy boots, so I had these like really old like trainers from like 5 years ago, and they were literally like, we played on like proper muddy fields, and my bottom of my shoe would come off and I'd have to keep putting it back on mid-match. Like,
oh mate,
it was just, or I couldn't even like stand up in the mud because I'd just slip over. It was that bad. I didn't have studs. It was like just normal boots. So I had this like pretty much the entire. So that's why like it's so hard for me to play football. Genuinely, I just couldn't afford to get normal boots, so we just didn't bother. So I'm like kind of used to the whole boot thing a little bit. I don't mind baggy clothes. The only thing that would annoy me in that instance is having to keep pulling up my shorts if they are too baggy. That is where it pissed me off. But I don't know. I'm a bit like I don't know how to say it, but I like touch it. Like, I like having like a stimulant in my like hands and stuff. Like, I like doing something with my body. Like in my videos, I'm so express. I talk like this because I want to like do things. So I wouldn't mind that, because that kind of can be like a bit, especially like in a football game, you're a bit nervous. That could be a bit of a nervous tick to keep putting that up. I remember like I've had stuff in the past where like, I mean, I had braces, I had other stuff. Like, do you just play with stuff like when you're like nervous in that moment? So I think in the instance, I'd probably be okay with that a bit more, but I'm more used to the boots one. But genuinely having boots that like don't fit you or are awful or like just make you slip everywhere are the worst, because like I would touch the ball on my foot and I couldn't run with it because I'd just fall over. So I had to be so careful with it. It was so horrible.
Oh, mate, that's horrible. Now, I remember, so I did 2 pairs of boots. I had a pair of Kelme boots, which were almost like, they're like Predators. They're like the long tongues on. Such a nice pair of boots. Kelme do not get the recognition they should do. I don't know what, to be fair, I don't know what the boots like now that I've like retired from playing. But back then, they were so good. And those you had to heat up. You heated up the sole, then put the sole back into the boot, and then put your foot in it, so it molded to your foot. And that was fine, because it was like actually tight and it was right for your foot. But I did it with a pair of it was a pair of Copas, and someone told me, like in a football team, everyone's got their little things. Oh yeah, you should do this with your boots, and you should moldies. You just always wear moldies. You don't need like a pair of soft grounds, whatever it may be. And the one thing I always remember is one of my good friends telling me, buy your boots half a size too small in Copas, and then I think you had to like soak them in like really hot water, put your foot in it, and it did not work. It was horrendous. And I played for like maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I was like, I just got to go out and buy a new pair of boots. Never wore those boots again. It was awful.
I've got a question for you actually. In this Arsenal team, who reminds you the most of how when you played football of your style of like your
Gyökeres.
Is he
Like,
Gyökeres?
yeah, it's not even funny. Like honestly, and I guarantee all my mates I've played with would say exactly the same. It's not even like run the left channel. That's what I'd always do. Just brute force at points and finishing. Like, do you want to build up play, Alex? Nah. Going forward, but I wore 14 as my shirt as well. So genuinely, before Thierry Henry, and all my mates thought for ages I used to wear 14 as my shirt because of Henry. But when I was in primary school, I was like year 4. So, you know, like you had to be like year 6 to play in the football team. When I was year 4, and there was a match, and the head teacher had put me in, and all the shirts are gone, and there was only one left, and it was number 14, because you know everyone wants number 7, number 9, number 10, and I was you know the new kids, the little kids put in, and I just had number 14 ever since. So number 14's been a thing. So and lo and behold, he even wears that, doesn't he? So it just makes me laugh.
My
like,
number was 14 as well. But obviously, obviously, when I've grown up, like Henry, it's already been and done at Arsenal. So obviously, it was always 14's always been my lucky number, even before I knew Arsenal existed. When I was like 4, I was like, I like that number. And then I realized that like, oh, that's like that. For me, it's probably like Miles. I think Miles plays the most similar to me. Like, I don't know. Like, the problem is, I wasn't like, I played in goal a lot because I just couldn't be asked to run. I've got like the worst engine known to man. Like, I cannot run. Like, I go up the stairs. No, I'm not that bad, but I'm just not.
God.
I was like,
get to the end of a 2-hour podcast and I have to have a lie down.
Well, it's funny because I was a runner. Like before COVID, I was actually a runner, but that was mostly to get my stamina really good because I've just got awful stamina. But like with me, I've never been technically great, so I don't know what foot is the best. Like the angles on my left side feel more easier for me, but I probably can hit the ball harder with my right foot. So I always played left back because no one else wanted to play there, and I was like, well, I can kick a ball on my left foot, and a lot of people just couldn't. So I always just like would just play that or come into the center, like into the DM. I remember I played one game and I was left back, and then we needed a goal late on, so they put me attacking midfield, and it was the first game I ever played for this team. So no one passed it to me because no one knew who I was. So I was like, "Wow, great! I'm just sitting in the middle, not getting the ball." But like, I'm super. Like when I play any sport, I'm like super aggressive. You probably wouldn't imagine, but I'm like I kick people like a lot. Like I just not like I won't kick people because I really hate when you play like a 5-a-side game and people just kick you for no reason. That really pisses me off. But like where I will always be super physical. I remember we played in uni, we played this tournament and you're against loads of different teams. We played the football girls team, and it was on AstroTurf, and I just slid to one of them out, and they were like, "Why are you sliding this Astro?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't care." And I used to just take people out. I'd get the ball. I would be a fair tackle, well in, but like I would
straight through everyone at the same time though.
I would just not let people have time on the ball. If I was like, oh, if people are going to skill me, I'm just going to take them out. And I just did that all the time. So I feel like Bars are that way, just a bit aggressive.
John is saying Martinelli, head down. I love that, John. I love the self-awareness. I think sometimes when you compare yourself to a footballer, I think you can tell how self-aware people are and if they're being truly honest. Because I know what my limitations were as a footballer. I was so lucky. I played with some really good players. I've played with, I won't start name dropping here, but I've played with players who have played in the Champions League, which is insane.
That is insane.
Yeah. So one of my player coaches once said to me, "Oh, I had to mark Romario," which is insane. Insane. which brought me quickly back down to earth and looking around the pitch sometimes and being like, okay, that's what a real ball playing midfielder is. Oh, that's how you take a free kick. Like seeing someone take a free kick, like it's weird. Seeing it on the side of a pitch, and it does start to sink in, but when you're on the pitch with them and trying to receive the ball, and it's like below knee height, 30-yard pass, that's off the ground, but still below knee height. It's an unbelievable talent. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
Some of the people play it and I go,
it's so weird because like I genuinely could not shoot. Like even to this day, I'm not a guy that has a lot of power, just genuinely. So I can't shoot with any sort of conviction at all. Like even any sort of simple finish, I can't do. I've never been able to kick a ball like that. But I can control a ball well. That's like one thing I could do is bring a ball down from the sky. But then I was a pretty good passer, but I can't shoot at all. So I just was anywhere anytime I was like near the final third, it's just ropes. I was like, there's no chance we're getting anything out of me. Like I can't shoot at all. But I feel like, I mean, how I see the game now and how like I think tactically and look at things, like I don't know, like I see like I don't know. I just see so much now. It's so weird how when I play football, like I don't play that much anymore. But when I do play it, it's like, I mean, I'm mostly in goal to be fair, but you just see so much. I just see like passing lanes and stuff. And so something I did a lot at college when I played was like they just put me like in a position. I just hold the ball up, use my body, and then pass it off. That's all I do. I couldn't do anything else. But I was like, the one thing I could do is just use my body and kick people. So it's fine. So Miles is skinny.
And by the way, Alex, watching the show, everyone loves the name drop. I know that Alex has got some bigwigs in his phone book. So I'm not going to name drop because I can't do big as names as you, mate. Mate, it has been another lovely episode. Tell everyone where they can find you, Reece.
Wokkles YT. The 6 other channels I will start for about 2 weeks and probably give up. But Full Manager comes out soon, so maybe not. But
was it November the 4th?
Yep, the beta comes out on the 21st, I think. So I'm going to be playing that. I'll be streaming that.
Isn't there a thing as well? You can order it, you can pay more and get like a week early.
No, well, basically, if you pre-order it, which is it's not more, you can pre-order it on websites with discount codes for like actually 15 quid cheaper. It's about 28 quid. But if you pre-order the game, you get the beta, which comes out 2 weeks before release. And they always do it to make sure that like the games work. And that's on the 21st. So that's where I'm going to be streaming. So check the streams.
And if you haven't done so, please make sure you like and subscribe. It does help the channel. It makes sure that we get pumped out to other people who haven't seen us. And it makes sure that we keep growing the community. I love the fact that everyone keeps tuning in. It's wicked. Do you know what? I was going to say to you, Reece, I did a thumbnail for the latte firm recently. And it's just funny because everyone's going, oh, that's a Forder thumbnail. And I hadn't put anything. I did hide a Rohan in there. I had to hide a little Rohan in. I don't know if FK knows this, but yeah, it's really nice that there's, the same people keep coming back. So I do appreciate it. It's really good. Thanks, guys. But we will be back on Friday. If you haven't checked it out as well, check out the monthly review with Yembele that I did on Monday. That'll be happening every single month. And we're kind of debating names at the moment. Reece, how do you feel about the North Bank Monthly?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yep.
It's a bit like it's a bit old-fashioned, isn't it?
Yeah.
You should call it the super.
We're
cool,
both old compared to you, so
super cool
yes.
monthly. You should call it the super cool monthly Arsenal podcast. That's a great name.
down with the Arsenal kids.
Yeah, that's how you get the audience.
Okay, I'll change that for next time. Thanks, mate. We will see you all next week live on Friday. Before, what game have we got then? I have no idea.
It's international break.
What game we got?
I think.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, we could do our favourite Arsenal players ready for next week. Or our favourite 11s. That'd be nice. Let's do that.
Forlan. Forlan.
Forlan as well. That's going to be an argument city, isn't it? Heated debate. Let's go. Cheers, everyone. We will see you next week.